Hello, this is Compound Interest Stock Guy, and today we're going to be talking about Tilray's financial results as well as Aurora's. So stay tuned. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Hit the bell notification down below so you're notified when I upload a video. Please give me a thumbs up. It helps my channel. Helps with the algorithm so more people can see my videos and I can grow my channel. So I'd really appreciate that. I also want to disclose I'm not a financial advisor. This is just for entertainment information purposes. Do not buy or sell based on anything I talk about in this video. Buy or sell after you did your research and your due diligence. So what happened was Tilray, they released the earnings at the end of the day, right after the close. And then there was after hours trading and it spiked. It went up about 5-6%. I own one call for Tilray, and I'm in the money now, so it's good. And I got it till May 24th, and so yeah, I think I should do good on it. I'm hoping I do really good on it. It'd be awesome if Tilray went to $60 or $70 before it expires. I'll turn like 135 or 140 bucks into $1,000 or $2,000 based on the fact that I was looking into the fact that I realized that Tilray is releasing earnings and it's just been kicked down that so hard that eventually it had to go up. So I just decided to pick a call, and I got it really cheap when the price was around $46, and I bought it for the strike price of $50. So it's good. So what are we looking at? Aurora's first. Let's do Aurora's first. I haven't really researched this that thoroughly, but before we get into this, I kind of just want to give myself a pat on the back again. I mean, it seems that viewers on YouTube only really want to listen to people who really want to talk about how great they are. I mean, I don't know. I'm just a humble person and all that. But I mean, if that's what YouTube's all about, then I guess I'm gonna have to be like that if I want to be popular on YouTube. So I'm just gonna say my piece, and I'm gonna say that I've been on the ball as far as MetaFarm Labs quarterly results go, Fire's results, as well as Aurora's. So I'm probably one of the best, if not the best, estimators in this cannabis in the cannabis space on YouTube. And you can challenge I'll challenge any other YouTuber uh, who can be better at guessing financials for some of these companies, because I'm pretty on the ball, and I don't know. It's just something to have. It's a talent. But basically, here's proof. I said 67 million for ACB, and this was 15 hours ago. But I did this a long time ago, and I apparently won the contest. And there was 25 people that voted, and I was heckled by this guy. He follows me. He's a nice guy, but yeah, he's all into Tilt and Aurora and T God. I just invest into Tilt, but yeah, he was heckling me about the fact that I'm lowballing Aurora, but I actually gave them 2 million on top of what they actually got. So I was being nice. I could have just said like 59 million or something, like lowballed to be under, but I said 67 million because I just had that really good sense that it's not going to be. I mean, could I be wrong by like 10 or 20 million? Sure, but I felt that it was going to be around that. We're all thinking that's going to be 90, 100 million, and I'm thinking to myself, no, it's not going to be that. There's no way. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So I said we will see at the end of the. He's saying 90 million. Again, pro forma isn't what I was betting on, because I haven't looked into this. We'll dig into this, but Whistler Cannabis probably does around 5 million per quarter. and he's saying their run rate's 150,000 killer. Well, Afria says they're 250,000 kilograms, yet they only sold $18 million. So people got to think about these things. I mean, I'm not cutting anybody down, but I'm just saying though, basically, there's what companies are saying and what they're actually selling are two different things. And I'm saying there's a 300 and 500 million run rate for 2019, and the majority of the revenues will come in the second half of this year. So yeah, 65 to 70 this quarter, and the 65 number is exactly what it is. So, and that's why it says 67 as a mid. And I'm thinking next quarter maybe 90 to 105 million. I mean, the closer we get to the quarter ending, the better I'll be able to think about things. And I'm saying the quarter after 105 to 120 million, and after 115 to 150 million. And I'm saying the thing is, there's no stores. There's really very little stores in Ontario and in BC, so that really plays a havoc on the sales. And he's calling me a short. Or maybe he's not, but I'm not sure. I just basically am being honest. But again, if you want to add me on Twitter, go ahead. My name is Compound Stock 13, and follow me. I tweet news. I tweet my opinion, and I also I upload my videos there sometimes as well. And so yeah, follow me on there. You can also leave me a message. You can chat to me. Yeah, it's all good. So yeah, I'm gonna get out of Twitter, but Twitter's kind of the place to be if you want to listen to some really smart people. This guy, I really respect Todd Harrison, and there's all these companies that they tweet stuff on there, so you can kind of stay more in tune than all the press releases that are out. So there's more information on there, so it's a good place to be. I didn't start doing Twitter for until like a month or two ago. I was kind of scared about being on Twitter, but now I'm on Twitter and I got 26 followers, and maybe in time I'll have 100 or more, just like my YouTube's growing. So it's pretty cool. So let's get into this. So revenue increased 195% compared, or like year over year for the quarter, 23 million USD and 31 million Canadian, and it helped with the addition of Manitoba Harvest from their hemp food sales, and they had strong growth in international medical markets. Oh, they're saying excluding excise tax revenue was 21.5. So I guess what I'm writing on that is low. I mean, I'm high, but it's not bad. It's pretty close. Adult use was 7.8 million, and ACMPR for medical patients is 7.76 million. So rec use and medical use are pretty much neck and neck. It's going to be bigger when more edibles come online and there's more stores. But this is just showing how small the sales channels are throughout Canada. So it's not that good. It's not good for these companies. USA is a lot more advanced in a lot of these states. So that's why you're seeing, and there's a lot of big population in the US. That's why you're seeing companies such as True Leaf doing 35 million, and that's just in one state, in Florida. So, and in medical, they did in international, so global in Europe mainly. I think that's all they do is mainly Europe. They did 1.8 million for the quarter, so on a yearly basis, that's 7 million. So that's just showing, it's just the running around about the percentages of what the company's selling. So that's pretty cool. It's just showing how small the international sales are and the rec sales are. but they're going to grow with time because Germany has 80 million people or more, if my recollection is right. And then they're going to have more Canadian medical patients, and then eventually they'll get into USA. So that's just what they're doing right now is just they're growing their brand. I listened to the conference call. I'm going to upload that as well. It's an hour long, and if you don't want to listen to it all, I have a summary at the very end for about a minute or two to kind of summarize exactly what's going on with the business. But I'm not going to talk about that too much about the conference call, what he said in this video. I'm just going to talk about these results. And they increased for the kilograms sold 2 times, over 2 times from a year prior, but the price is down. So the price was at $560, and a year ago was $594. And then $528 when you think about the excise tax. So they're losing 70 cents per gram, and it is at but they increased their gross margin to 23%, and a year ago was 50%. So it's just showing that there's I think it has to do with Europe sales as well as just medical sales, that there's more competition in the space and that they have to compress the prices in order to offload the cannabis. Kind of, I mean, obviously they're not offloading it, people are buying it, but it's just, yeah. And the big thing was also they're ramping up their cultivation facilities in Canada and Portugal. And they also had third-party supply from Supreme. Food product margins were impacted by 0.7 million, accounting for the fair value of inventory. And they did a net loss of 30.3 million or 32 cents per share, compared to 5.2 million or 7 cents per share a year ago. Non-GAAP net loss was 25.2 million or 27 cents per share. I'm not sure what the non-GAAP net loss means. Oh, it says they're non-recurrent acquisition related charges, and adjusted EBITDA was a loss of 14.6 million compared to loss of 3.2 a year prior. And because it has to do with their growth initiatives and addition of Manitoba harvest and expansion of international teams. So they have international sales and marketing people and just advisors that they're paying. I'd like to be an advisor. If you're one of these companies and you want a smart cannabis advisor, give me a holler. I want that job. I want some stock options as well. Acquired Manitoba Harvest, a hemp and natural foods producer, for 410 million Canadian, and it's subject to revenue milestones. Natura Holdings for 71 million. So that's a big greenhouse that they have now, and they completed a revenue sharing agreement with Authentic Brands, and that's for CBD products in the US and THC CBD products in Canada, and expand globally. Oh, that's cool. It's also THC in Canada. So what that company is it has such players as Greg Norman and Nautica, or all these different types of brands that are kind of popular. And but the thing is World International Cannabis also has a deal with that same company, and they're working with Wayland, and Wayland global assets would be turned into them. So I mean, people should look into that. They're not the only company that's dealing with this authentic brands. If you think that's a good thing to have in the company, then I mean, I'm just wanted to shout that out. They completed a harvest in medical cannabis in Portugal. They expect multiple harvests from the facility in the coming months. And they're doing 2 clinical studies in, damn it. I got to, just give me a second. Yeah, I just had to hook in my battery charger. So they're doing a pilot study in Melbourne, a placebo-controlled trial. So what placebo is it's the saying is if a doctor says take this vitamin, it's gonna make you feel it's gonna cure all your pains and aches, and that's what the person believes because they believe what the doctor says. So that's a placebo study. 32.6 million because they want to have 203,000 square feet more in Nanaimo, Leamington, Ontario, and London. From 1.1 million to 1.3 million square feet worldwide. So that's pretty cool. And then it's just talking about their conference call. And I have it. I'm gonna upload it. So if you want to listen to the conference call on Tilray, it's 1 hour long. If you don't want to, just if you still want to know a little bit about it, just click on it and go to the very ending, the last 2 minutes, and I just kind of summarize it. But yep, cost of sales. So they have 294 million. So they are in a very good cash position, and that is in US dollars. So that's very good for them. That's pretty impressive. I mean, it's not a big cash position that Kronos or Canopy has, but it's a pretty decent cash position. You got to think about it that T-God has 224 million, and that's floating their boat because T-God's selling. They just announced they did like 2.5 million this quarter, so their share price, like their market cap's around like 1.5 billion dollars. The reason why their market cap's so high is because they got such a big cash position, and people think they have big potential. So that's kind of has to do with if Tilray has a bigger cash position because that's in Canadian dollars. So if this is in Canadian dollars, if this converted, that's close to around 400 million. So that's almost like 2 times the cash position that T-God has. On top of that, they have a partner with Novartis for pharmaceuticals. Pharmaceuticals is a humongous industry, and also with Ab+Bev for making alcohol and beverages, and with the authentic brand. So they're working around, and then the Manitoba Harvest is the biggest hemp seed company for foods. So I mean they're getting their brand really able to recognize as a global cannabis company, because this really is it's the reason why the market cap's so high is because it's a race with intellectual property. So Aurora buys Hemco, and they buy other companies, and they want to have all this kind of big synergies so they can create a big conglomerate, and that's what Tilray is doing. But Tilray is not being that aggressive. They have a low float, and they're not diluting too much, so that they can keep their tight float, and that makes it less likely to be able to short the company, because when you have 1.2 billion shares that Aurora has, it's pretty easy to short the company. So I don't know. All right, let's do Aurora's. So it says there I got 94 million shares out at the end. So that's really small. And then we're going to compare it to Aurora's, which has 1 point. They have 12 times. So that's what's kind of annoying, because I go to all these groups. Like, I'm pretty active in this whole YouTube community, and you go to Departures Capital and Investing Hustler, and you know, these guys don't understand that Tilray has pretty much 15 times less shares, and they're like, oh, it's so expensive. I used to think like them, but basically it's kind of ignorant, because you got to think about the fact that it's all about market cap. I'm not saying Aurora's not valuable, but Tilray's pretty cheap. I don't know, like, Tilray could go lower, but Tilray's a big player in the whole cannabis space, because they have these connections. They have private holdings. I mean, based on, if I was to evaluate every company in the space and be realistic without any cash injections from these big S&P 500 companies, then I would say that, okay, Canopy should be worth maybe 1.5 billion. Tilray should be worth 800 million. Aurora should be worth 800 million. You know what I'm saying? And but because this is a growing space, and there's hype, and there's all these things like that, that these market caps can go insane. So I mean, because no other company, there's not the alcohol beverage. What these companies are attacking is $1 trillion industry. So it's something that the alcohol companies and the pharmaceutical companies need these guys. So that's where it comes in, the supply and the demand. If you're a humongous player, then that's where you get the premium. So they did 65 million, and they're saying positive EBITDA by the end of the year quarter. Continued solid revenue growth, averaging 20% across all key markets. Canadian consumer up 37%, Canadian medical up 8%, international medical up 40%. That's for revenue growth. And they did 5% for patient. And they said they increased it by 99% for their kilograms, and they're up 1,200% from a year ago. And the majority was realized in the last half of the quarter. So they're saying extraction capacity resulted in comprising of 18% of the cannabis sales. And EBITDA loss improved by 20% to 36.6 million. And they want to track towards EBITDA positive in the end of the year. And they completed a 345 million convertible notes offering. So this is IFRS, and it's a new accounting standards, and it's really messing with a lot of companies that mess with Tilt, and it's just a domino effect. And they recorded 102 million non-cash value loss. Terry Booth says he's extremely proud of the company on domestic and international growth strategy. And they say they're laser focused on building a long-term sustainable business. And they welcome Nelson Peltz as an advisor. And the CFO says he's extremely active. They're extremely active and diversified company, and they're leading in cannabis research, product development, cultivation, global scale, and revenue growth. With a solid Q3 on all fronts, it's time to move the yardsticks for the industry again. I would say they haven't really built the business, but it's mainly on targeted acquisitions. I mean, the organic growth has been very small. I mean, it's been big, but a lot of their revenue comes from med relief and uh, you know, Canamed and other, just other players. I mean, Med Relief probably adds another 15 million and Canamed adds another 5 million, so that's like a third of their market cap. So, but I mean, yeah, they have grown their business organic as well, but they're definitely not the most organic company out there. Which I'm not saying is a bad thing, but I don't know. I would love a company to win this cannabis race and be all organic and not acquire everyone, because I got my reasons. I'm not going to get into it, but so they did gross revenue with the excise stamp, so 75 million, and the net revenue minus the excise stamp is 65.145. So I was almost like 1.855 million off of being exactly correct. That's pretty solid. Yeah, good job. I'm not a bragger person. Like, honestly, I just want to stay humble and be real, and I want to be honest, but I just want to get my message out there as well. Because it's kind of annoying when you make videos and nobody really watches. It kind of feels wasted effort. So yeah, if you get some views and you get some comments and some thumbs up, it motivates me to make more videos. So I do appreciate all that kind of good stuff, and when people subscribe. Uh, Medical cannabis net revenue is 29 million, and cannabis for rec is 29.5. So they really only did $500,000 more in sales for the rec market versus the medical market. So that's just showing there right there how important the medical market is in Canada. So people should really look into Namaste. This is really just looking at these balance sheets, just showing that people should look into Namaste. Because if Namaste becomes an amazing dominant player in the medical cannabis arena, then they're gonna really place havoc on Aurora and Tilray and Canopy, because people that could be using the rec market and just want to use medical cannabis, they're taking away that pie. So gross margin 55%, and their administration and selling in general is 67 million, and their loss is 158 million. So they didn't get rid of much goodwill. They say they have 118 million in cannabis inventory and biological assets. So that would be product that's in their vault, and flower that's growing, and clones and oils and all that stuff that's kind of just still at their facility but hasn't left the door. And their per cash cost is good. It went down, I think, 26%, 142 to produce the grams sold from 192. So that's very good. But also their price, it went down 40 cents. So I don't know if that has to do with the less oils sold, because I think oils sell for much higher. But But yeah, 9160 was sold. So 15, they have 6,500, like almost 6,400 kilograms that are waiting to be sold. I think. I mean, they're having an excess on the production over what they sold. So I don't know, something to think about. If they don't, if not more stores open up and that they can push the product out and get rid of the product, that's gonna that's gonna mess up the industry. And yeah, it's gonna affect. I mean, it's a battle. It's gonna be a battle in the next couple of years between the black market and all these cannabis companies that start growing excessive amounts. Not excessive, but it's just like it's there's only amount of people that will buy cannabis, medical and rec, and so that uh yeah, I mean they have to fight for every dollar, and they're saying 155,000 that they're at for run rate. And they're talking about the end of the year, they'll have 25,000 kgs. And then they're going to have manufacture new products for legalization 2.0 and edibles and vapes. So their Bradford facility, which I believe is a med relief facility, or maybe it's CanaMed, I'm not sure. It's undergone an audit to obtain EU GMP, and they're doing full spectrum cannabis extracts. And they're saying oil extraction capacity has been a constraint during the second and third. And they expanded their internal extraction to almost 7,000 kilograms per quarter currently, and will reach almost 16,000 kgs per quarter in fiscal Q1. 16,000 kgs. That's pretty impressive. And Radiant is scaling up. And they're saying that extract-based products will increase because with legalization 2.0 with vapes and edibles and infused beverages. So because they're now operating at full capacity, they're saying that they're going to have a reduction in production, allowing cash cost per grams to go down. And they're saying it's going to be below $1 to grow. So I think they're at like 150, 142, yeah. Yeah, so they want to create that EU GMP for their Bradford facility so that they can ship a lot of their extra product to Europe. So that's going to help with their sales. And they're saying their first saleable harvest is expected at the end of Q4 in December 2019, or with regulatory approvals provided. And they're saying Aurora Sun in Medicine Hat is progressing well. And they're saying by mid 2020, it'll measure 1.62 million square feet. Whistler Alpha Lake is currently operating as designed capacity of 480 kilograms a year. That's not very much. 480,000 times like 8. I don't know. That's not a lot of money. Let's look. They paid like 175 million for this company. So let's say they're getting times 8,000. Yeah, that's only like 3.84 million. That's weak. Oh, so they have they're constructing a Whistler Pemberton, and it's going to be ready at the end of the year of 1,200 kg. So I don't know, like times that by 4, so they should be around like, and then they're saying 4,500 kilograms per year when they're fully completed. So 5,000 kgs at about $7 or $8 per gram is going to be around 35 to 40 million. And they incorporate a public lounge to educate visitors about Whistler's cannabis, its history as cultivation pioneers of organic certified cannabis. Because yeah, they're a pioneer in the industry. That's a good acquisition for them. I mean, now that I think about it, if they're able to do say around 35 to 40 million, that would be good for them. If they paid 175 million, if they're able to get some really good profit margins as well. Basically, I think the reason why they bought Whistler for the most part is basically just to cut off their competition. So I don't know what this AgriPro, but they're harvesting 3950 in Lithuania and Estonia for the upcoming grow season. And they're planning to contract 8,150 acres of hemp, which is expected in August. So yeah, they acquired Hemco Chimie Pharmaceuticals, a laboratory in Ontario for high quality analytic services for pharmaceutical and cannabis industries for derivative products. Aurora Polaris, a 300 square foot international logistics hub. I don't know where this is. I don't know much about this. I don't know anything about Aurora Polaris. They say that Aurora scored the highest across 11 of 13, and they allotted the most. And they're commencing work in Germany, and they expect to reach deliver product by October 2020. And they want to develop a brand awareness in an important market. So they exported to UK on February 11th, and expansion created Aurora, Portugal, a 51% interest in Gaia Farm LDA. And they exported cannabis oil in March 11th. So they're going to be diluting more, 750 million with a shelf-based prospectus. It's for 25 months. So they had 4 million in sales for EU. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. 16, that'd be a 16 million run rate for a year. For how early we are on in this cannabis industry, where it's going to be $1 trillion industry plus probably within 10 to 20 years, to be able to do like 1.6% of, well, no, not even that. That's really small. I'm just saying though, being a first mover, is very beneficial. So the conference call is going to be on at 10:30 a.m. Wednesday, May 15th, and Terry Booth and Glenn Ibbett, Michael Singer, and Cam Batley, and a question and answer session. And it'll replay until May 22nd on here, and you have to do this reference number. So anyways, I hope you like this video. Please subscribe, hit the bell notification, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, let me know what you think, and until next time, peace.